Welcome to the Portal Podcast on In Tune by Britt, your gateway to energy, abundance, and next level freedom. I'm Britt, and here we merge spiritual alignment with practical systems so you can expand your impact, your intuition, and your income. So take a deep breath, tune in, and let's step through the portal together. Welcome back to the Portal Podcast, and welcome back to the second episode here of the Future You Portal, the Lightworker Creator Series. So this is an incredible series that I'm doing. If you haven't watched the first episode of this series, feel free to go back and start with that one. So this episode is all about meeting your future self. So really bridging that gap, forming a relationship, having a deeper connection with this version of you that's already alive, and really bringing that into your present reality to close that gap and manifest faster. So in the last episode, we talked about moving from consumer to creator and in what areas of your life specifically you're being really called to move that energy and shift those percentages and in what direction. And then I want to dive deeper really into the identity of the person that you're becoming and allow yourself to see and feel and allow and connect to what that looks like and what that feels like. So we're going to go deeper into identity. You hear about identity a lot, and it really is because it's such a strong force when we talk about human behavior. And there's all this talk about, strategy and what to do when you look at self-improvement or success. But really the strongest force in so many, successful people and sages and seers and people, masters, when you look at people that have really accomplished really beautiful things, talking about becoming the identity of that person first. And so what does that mean for you? Well, I always like to look at things from the manifestation angle, from the spiritual angle, and more the practical angle. So when we dive into the spiritual teachings say that this future version of you, the identity that you're wanting to step into, already lives vibrationally in your aura. So it's already in your field, right? So if you're new to aura work or what the aura means, what it is, a long time ago, it was thought of as more of a woo-woo concept, and maybe it still is a little bit. But, it really has become a lot more mainstream, and people have won the Nobel Peace Prize for actual devices that can measure the aura. And it's become like much more proven in the scientific community. There's been a lot more research around this energetic field around you, and we can work with the aura. So we work with the chakras. The culmination of the chakras is the aura. Different masters have said different things, that your aura can be between 1 to 9 feet or even much larger than that. They have aura photography that can take pictures of your aura, see the different colors. There are many people that can see colors in people's auras or can feel your aura. I'm sure you've had that before. You've just felt somebody's energy when they've walked into a room, or maybe they're just standing there and you haven't spoken to them yet, but they're radiating, they're emitting something that can be tangibly felt. So this spiritual concept of identity is that if you are wanting to be a certain identity, then it's because it already lives in your aura. So it's really just about connecting, creating a relationship with that version of you for you to have the embodiment and become that more than you identify with, some identities that you had in the past. And what does that look like? That means spending time with her, interacting with that energy, and really going deeper in the relationship with that part of you that is there and available for you to step in more fully too. So we all have our highest self, and it lives in the subtle bodies. So in Kundalini, there's the 10 bodies and the subtle body. And like I said, the aura. And so I want you to just know that it's not just your imagination. It's not just this completely foreign concept. Like if you want to be a speaker and you see yourself speaking on stage, or that's a dream that you have, but you've never actually done it. You've never actually spoken on a stage, or maybe, you've spoken on a stage to 30 people, 40 people, 50 people, but the future version of you speaks on stage to 5,000 people. So you already know that that version of you exists because you're thinking about it, you're visioning it, you're seeing it, you're desiring it. And so instead of thinking of it as just your imagination, understanding that she's actually a frequency, that thing, that speaking on stage to 5,000 people is a frequency that is present and available. And your nervous system must feel safe to step into that timeline and have a merging with that version of you and fully become the identity of her. Okay, so what does this look like? What this has looked like for me is to begin living as the future self before the evidence existed. So oftentimes we're wanting to have evidence, like, okay, well, if I'm going to speak on stage to 5,000 people, I need some sort of proof that that's available right now. And then you're like waiting and waiting for proof, like we talked about in the last episode. Then you get in that waiting mode, right? But it's about, how can I start to live as my future self before the evidence existed? And how can you start to make choices from the woman that you're becoming, not the one that you've been before? And so what does that look like for you? Okay. So if you got hired tomorrow to speak on stage in front of 5,000 people, what type of things would you be doing today? There was a time where I knew I wanted to speak more. I knew I wanted to, I don't know, I didn't even in my realm have like a vision yet of a podcast. I don't know if there were even podcasts then. Maybe there were, but it wasn't like a very clear idea, I guess, as far as I want to have a podcast or what it was. I just at that time knew that I wanted to speak. I knew I wanted to speak more. I knew I was supposed to speak more. And so what did I do? I joined Toastmasters. I don't know if you've heard of Toastmasters before. My grandfather was a Toastmaster, and I basically joined a Toastmasters group. And it's basically a speaking society, teaches you to speak well, speak better, teaches you to practice speech and get better and better at it. So I got in that group. I started getting involved. I started going to the meetings. Next thing I was doing my speeches. You have to do certain speeches and you kind of get graded and they give you feedback and tips. They count how many ums, likes, ahs, and knows that you do. And it's something that you have to keep practicing, right? And then I got asked to be one of the, I think there was 5 people to represent my generation. And I spoke at this huge Toastmasters conference. There was over 500 people there. And at the time I had never spoke on a stage to that many people. And it was incredible. It was amazing. It gave me a lot of confidence. It had me do better in my job. There was all these benefits that I didn't even realize. Give better presentations, work on things that were lacking with my voice, my speech, how I enunciated my words, things that I was struggling with before. And then it was a part of my path in the very beginning to then feel more comfortable on video, do videos, start to do challenges, start to do lives on Periscope back in the day, and, whatever else it was, and then Instagram, and then start a podcast and start speaking more, start teaching more, and really be in my element in that realm, right? So it's really about like, What are the choices that you're making today that are supporting the woman that you're becoming, your future self, the future you, to step into that portal of your future self? So when that fear comes up, when that doubt comes up, when that uncertainty comes up, how can you hold the vision high? And how can that vision and that dream and that desire be more powerful than your fears, to then allow you to take the step that your future self, the person that already got booked, on the stage in front of the 5,000 people, was doing? Start that now to then get closer to what it is that you want. And it was this moment for me that I realized, instead of thinking like, I can't wait to become that version of me, or, I can't wait to whatever, not be working for this person, or not be doing this job, and I can't wait to do my own thing or do things that I love more. I switched into, I have to start living as her now. And how can I start to live more as her now? So here's the embodiment. I'm going to take you through a little embodiment practice of meeting the future you. So I want you to close your eyes if you can. If not, if you're walking or something, that's totally fine. But if you can, close your eyes, feet on the floor, or you can even sit in easy pose. I want you to breathe into your heart center specifically. So really breathe deeply into the heart. Increase the breath. Take the deepest breath that you've taken all day. And I want you to imagine standing in this doorway of light. So there's a door. There's light coming in through the door towards you. You're standing on one side of the door. Keep breathing into your heart. Connect to your feeling, body, your aura. And on the other side of that door is the version of you who already lives your dream life. So look through that doorway, through that light, and I want you to see her. How does she move? How does she speak? How does she create? What is she creating? What is her relationship and connection to holding money, visibility, leadership, rest, pleasure, devotion? And I want you to ask her, what are you here to create through me? She is your highest self. She is source energy, co-creating through you. So asking her, what are you here to create through me? And let her answer. Feel free to write it down, comment it, let me know, really connect to that, anchor that in. And now I want you to anchor it into your body. So place your hand on your heart and say, I am becoming the woman who can hold this life. And what sensations do you feel? What emotions do you feel? Just allow that. Allow anything that you're feeling, everything that you're feeling, knowing that whatever you're feeling is perfect for your own unique experience. Feel into that anchor. I am becoming the woman who can hold this light. And then I want you to step through that door. Step through that door. You are not separate from her. And I want you to start to be in that frequency. Start to connect with that frequency more and more and more, and remember this feeling. Remember what this feels like and become more and more familiar with this feeling. And maybe it's fleeting. Maybe it's little moments throughout your day or throughout your week. But as you get more and more familiar with it, you can connect more and more to it, and you can become her now. Become her now more and more and more. So I'm going to give you an integration, some journal prompts, some ways to integrate this deeper. And if you want to get these written out, you can get them below. But I want you to journal, what would my future self do today? How would she show up? How would she create? What would she create? And how would she trust? All right, you guys, I hope that was fun. I hope that was a beautiful meeting of your future self. Oftentimes it is releasing. So if you felt any emotions, that's totally normal. If you maybe felt something that, isn't coming with you into the next chapter, or you're leaving behind, just know that that's a part of the process. And in the next episode, we're going to explore a lot more why some people can embody their future self more easily, why you maybe have been able to embody your future self in certain areas more easily than others, why some people feel more blocked or scattered or stuck in hesitation, and how you can move through that and bring in more ease and flow. Because the truth is that your ability to create and to connect and really become this future self is directly connected to your energy and your energy systems, the chakra systems, your mind, your body, your spirit connection. So that's going to bring us in the next episode to more of the chakras, more of the alignment, and the Kundalini, how we can use the Kundalini technology to align us, and also the architecture of aligned manifestations and what manifesting in more and more alignment can look like and feel like for you. So thank you for joining me on this series. This is so much fun. I hope you're enjoying this. The Future You Portal, this Lightworker Creator Series, is going to continue. And I'm so excited to continue to go deeper with this. So if you loved this episode, please subscribe and share it and tag me on Instagram at Intune by Britt. And I'm excited to have you join us back for the next episode. So much love. See you there. Thank you for stepping through the portal with me today. If you loved this episode, I would so appreciate you leaving a review and email it to podcast@intunebybrit.com to grab my free spiritual CEO guide, ChatGPT prompts for content and daily schedules and checklists, and my morning ritual checklist to help you to stay aligned and in flow. Come back for the next episode and let's keep rising, expanding, and flowing together through the portal. Sat Nam, lots of love.